left you up here an hour ago. I showered, did my hair, got the kids up, got them dressed. Kids, go downstairs. Mommy's yelling. And you can't even do yourself?
Thanks to its funny characters and sympathetic stories, Everybody Loves Raymond became a smash hit in the 90s. The mood was not always as upbeat as it appeared on TV, though. There were some disturbing scenes and hidden realities throughout the show. Patricia Heaton's decision to keep some details of the show's production under wraps was an intriguing plot point. Come with us as we reveal the truth behind the making of Everybody Loves Raymond. Using real-life events as inspiration, comedian Ray Romano made the CBS sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond. Ray Barone, a sports writer, and his family, wife Deborah and 3 kids, are the main characters in the story. A noteworthy comedy of the 1990s, the show's humorous elements are heightened by the presence of Ray's overbearing parents and gloomy, envious brother. The Emmy-winning 9-season run of Everybody Loves Raymond solidified the show's place in television history. Despite the show's critical acclaim, certain behind-the-scenes details may have slipped the public's radar. A number of intriguing factors contribute to the production, such as off-screen dramatic happenings and sudden shifts in the ensemble. These subtleties offer a fascinating glimpse into the intricate development of Everybody Loves Raymond, even if they may not directly impact the show's charm and comedy. At first, Ray Romano was not a fan of the title of the show. Everybody Loves Raymond's initial opening scene included Ray introducing his family members outside their home while they stood on a moving belt. At the end of the introduction, Robert says, "Everybody loves Raymond." CBS temporarily used a quip made by Ray Romano's real brother as the name of the show. Although Romano thought the idea was interesting, he was first hesitant to use it as the show's official name out of fear of backlash. The term, though, started to suit better as the program racked up accolades and good reviews. The show's meteoric rise to fame was so noticeable that it inspired a joke from another comedy, Everybody Hates Chris. In order to show the intricacies of family life, sitcoms often featured children in the cast. In contrast to the norm, The King of Queens featured a married couple who chose not to have a family. When making Everybody Loves Raymond, Ray Romano drew influence from his own experiences, especially when he was establishing the characters' characteristics for the kids. Alexandra, a girl, and Gregory and Matthew, twin sons, were Romano's offspring at the time the show premiered. Based on Romano's own family, the children in the pilot episode were called Allie, Gregory, and Matthew. Nevertheless, Romano resolved to create a distinct divide between fact and fiction after growing worried about the show's similarities to his own life. So Michael and Jeffrey became the names of the series' sons, but Allie stayed the name of the daughter. By making this decision, Romano was able to create unique characters for his TV series while still pulling inspiration from his own life. By doing so, Everybody Loves Raymond managed to illustrate the complexities of family relationships without compromising the program's creative values or invading Romano's personal space. Did you know that other actors were cast to play the roles of the children as well? The show's depiction of family relationships was enhanced by include the Barone children. Some viewers could have missed the subtle shift in casting that occurred since the kids weren't initially given more screen time than they would have in a traditional comedy. Justin and Drew Ferreira, who are actually twins, played the roles of Matthew and Jeffrey, Ray and Deborah's boys, in the first episode. It was decided to replace the Ferreira twins as the series progressed since their maturation as actors became more obvious. Jennifer Sweeten, who played Allie, the daughter of the Barone family, had 2 younger twin brothers, Sawyer and Sullivan, which is an interesting fact. The parts originally played by the Ferreira twins, Michael and Jeffrey, were eventually filled by these identical twin brothers. Fans were curious about the children's physical similarities to Ray because of this casting decision, even though none of them looked particularly like him. The result was a rise in fan theories and imaginative interpretations among the show's devoted audience. With the Sweeten siblings on board, the program took on a new dimension and could more organically delve into family dynamics and relationships. In spite of these changes, the Barone children remained integral to the show, which increased its popularity. Brad Garrett struggled with alcoholism. Without a doubt, one of the series' most notable characteristics was Brad Garrett, who portrayed Robert Ray's brother. Through the course of the show's run, he won 3 Emmys for his masterful depiction of the character's complicated mix of emotions, including jealousy and sadness. Despite the positive character he presented on TV, Garrett had his fair share of personal struggles away from the camera. Years after production wrapped on Everybody Loves Raymond, Garrett bravely discussed his experiences as a high-functioning alcoholic on set. He admitted that he frequently performed while drunk, particularly in the first season, and he faced the repercussions of his actions. Knowing that his life was in danger, Garrett decided to stop drinking before the first season ended. It was a flash of insight that warned his life may be in danger. Garrett has shown remarkable strength and resilience in the face of adversity. His determination to overcome addiction and put his health first is a prime example. By choosing to face his problems head-on, he laid the groundwork for a better lifestyle and demonstrated the power of self-awareness and will to overcome adversity. He also started a disagreement about pay. Determining adequate pay for all parties involved can be challenging when a television series gains substantial success, as Everybody Loves Raymond. As the show's popularity grew, some cast members saw significant raises in income while others saw no change at all. The show's co-creator and star actor Ray Romano became the highest-earning performer on television after receiving a large salary boost in 2003. Romano now earns $1.8 million every episode, plus additional revenues called residuals, because to this substantial salary increase. Brad Garrett, who played Robert Ray's brother, was dissatisfied with his salary and decided to quit the program when he found out he was only making $160,000 per episode. Along with him, a number of other performers made the same decision. The remaining cast members returned to their roles on the program after negotiating greater compensation after a few weeks. As in real families, performers on highly acclaimed and popular sitcoms may get into arguments behind the scenes. On occasion, divergent political opinions are the root cause of these disputes. Patricia Heaton, who played Deborah on the show, famously voiced her strong conservative views, which caused friction with co-star Peter Boyle, who had opposing liberal opinions. Their conversations were always marked by a kind and polite manner, according to Heaton, even if they had different ideas. They would keep a sense of humor by engaging in lighthearted banter regarding their differing viewpoints. Attending Boyle's burial in 2006 was evidence of Heaton's strong admiration for him. Additionally, she emphasized Boyle's unwavering support throughout her struggles, particularly as she worked to stay sober. On top of that, Patricia's real dad joined the cast as an actor. Patricia Heaton's real father, Chuck Heaton, is linked to the show through a subtle illusion, also called an Easter egg, in an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. Chuck Heaton has been widely recognized for his efforts as a distinguished journalist at the Cleveland Plain Dealer for over 50 years. Worth noting is that the program has Patricia Heaton playing the role of Deborah, who is the wife of Ray, who happens to be a journalist, conversely. The show's creators came up with a brilliant way to hint to Patricia's real father because of the similarity in family history. Deborah mentions a man called Chuck Heaton in a scenario where she and Ray are talking about Ray's co-worker. This delicate connection between Patricia's true identity and her character on the television program is obvious to those who are familiar with her personal life. It came to light twice during filming that she was expecting a child. For example, Patricia Heaton had to hide the fact that she was pregnant while filming Everybody Loves Raymond, which is just one of the many challenges that actresses face when working on television shows. She had 3 children already and probably didn't want any more, yet she fell pregnant twice during the show's run. Because these pregnancies couldn't be strategically woven into the plot, producers had to be creative to hide them. They used tried-and-true methods like blocking Heaton's path with big objects, having her wear loose clothing, and using clever camera angles. Because these tactics worked, most people didn't know that Heaton was pregnant when the episode was on. Her pregnancies were kept secret by the cast and crew of Everybody Loves Raymond, which is an admirable and remarkable feat. Jennifer Lee, who had worked as Patricia Heaton's assistant, sued her in 2009, claiming that Heaton had paid her too little. Lee claimed that Heaton violated California's labor laws meant to protect workers' rights by demanding more hours of work without paying him fairly. Lee went to court against her famous boss because she felt she was rightfully owed $742. Regardless of Heaton's fame as an actress and her heavy workload as a mother, this episode may indicate that she is not good at managing her staff. Despite Heaton and her legal team's relative silence on the subject, it is a timely reminder that everyone, no matter how wealthy or powerful, must comply with laws governing employee compensation. The program was based on real-life events. Much of the plot and drama in Everybody Loves Raymond came from real-life events that either Ray Romano or someone on the writing staff went through. However, few people realized that this was the case. The show's creator, Philip Rosenthal, would sometimes take exact quotes from his arguments with his wife in the screenplay. Rosenthal mentioned one episode in particular where a can opener disagreement was the plot point. The authors ran out of steam when it came to coming up with new ideas for the program, so they decided to end it rather than let it deteriorate in quality. Rosenthal made the light-hearted suggestion that the writers' personal lives would be in disarray if they kept cranking out episodes, as they would have to fight with their spouses all the time to come up with ideas for the show. Grumpiness was the deciding factor in Peter Boyle's casting. Everybody Loves Raymond's father figure, Frank Barone, was comically presented as irritable and grouchy, which added to the show's charm. Many people felt that Peter Boyle's performance as Frank was drastically different from the portrayal. But when Boyle met with Phil Rosenthal and Ray Romano to talk about perhaps being on the show, something funny happened. The whole Boyle family decided to tag along with him on the day of the meeting at Universal Studios. Unfortunately, they ran into a number of problems, such as having to get past security officers at the entry, finding a good parking spot, and then getting inside the wrong building. So, when Boyle showed up for the meeting, he seemed rather agitated. A subsequent interview with the Archive of American Television saw Boyle speculating that his sour attitude that day could have helped him land the part of Frank Barone. A fortunate sequence of circumstances led to his 7 straight Emmy Award nominations, all stemming from this one performance. Boyle was informed that she had cancer in 2002. Regardless, he chose to ignore the cast and crew when it came to this knowledge. He chose to keep his illness a secret from everyone save his close relatives and a small group of teammates. He confided in several others, including his on-screen wife Doris Roberts, about his condition. Whether he should tell everyone else or not, he wanted her take on the problem. But Roberts said, "No, you don't need to be treated as if you are terminally ill. What you require is for them to continue writing material for your character." So Boyle decided not to tell anyone about his illness and kept working on the show. Unfortunately, Boyle's time on the show was cut short when it ended in 2005. It wasn't broadcast until 2008, even though it was in the film All Roads Lead Home. Cancer and heart problems ultimately proved to be the causes of Peter Boyle's 2006 death, which occurred at the age of 71. He had a fulfilling life and left behind an impactful legacy, even though we lost an outstanding performer. Ray Romano's real-life sibling was not a fan of the program. Even though the program's use of real stories worked, some people weren't happy with it. Real-life brother Rich of Ray worked as a police officer, just like Ray's fictitious brother Robert in the TV show. Regardless, Rich was the target of his co-workers' mockery as a result of events seen on the episode. Rich was the target of ridicule since his brother was notorious for stealing from his fellow police, as Ray revealed in an interview. Although the show had a lot of viewers, the real people who were the basis for the story sometimes had a hard time dealing with the consequences of using real-life stories. An idea for a new TV series featuring Raymond's comical sibling Robert from the hit comedy Everybody Loves Raymond was conceived. Even while the whole family was beloved by viewers, Robert was especially cherished. The makers of Everybody Loves Raymond came up with the concept for a spin-off series starring Robert when they noticed how popular he was. Robert would go to Philadelphia and play the role of a fitness instructor in the new program, which would follow his adventures in the Big Apple. The technicalities required to bring Phil Rosenthal's proposed program to life caused discussions to stagnate, despite CBS's enthusiasm in the idea. The planned series may have struck a chord with many people and attracted a sizable audience. It seems like Patricia Heaton had a blast portraying the part of. From 2009 until 2018, Patricia Heaton portrayed Frankie Heck on The Middle, giving her a new television family to interact with when Everybody Loves Raymond ended. After that, she wrote a book and became an advocate for things she believed in. From 2019 until 2020, Heaton continued her acting career with an appearance on Carol's second act. Fans of Everybody Loves Raymond may remember Maggie Wheeler as Linda, a friend of the Barone family. However, Wheeler had originally auditioned for the role of Deborah, Raymond's wife. Maggie was almost cast as Deborah, but CBS decided she wasn't a good fit for the position. As a result, Deborah was finally played by Patricia Heaton. Even so, CBS wanted Maggie on the program and offered her a lesser part, which she gladly accepted. Both viewers and supporters of the show praised her for her role. Sadly, Doris Roberts passed away in 2016. Throughout her 6-decade acting career, she achieved great success. Doris became a household name after appearing in a slew of films and TV shows. 5 Emmys and a Screen Actors Guild Award were bestowed upon her during her career. Doris also demonstrated her acting chops in Mrs. Miracle and Grandma's Witness Protection, in addition to her role in Everybody Loves Raymond. Doris Roberts, who passed away in April 2016 at the age of 90, left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. Before becoming famous as Raymond in Everybody Loves Raymond, Ray Romano got his start on The Late Show with David Letterman. In order to augment his income, Ray Romano sought out a profession in stand-up comedy. He went from stand-up comedy to delivering furniture. Before he eventually got his big break, Ray spent 12 years perfecting his stand-up comedy act. The producers of The Late Show with David Letterman saw his potential and invited him to perform, where he left an impression on the crowd. Ray was approached by Letterman's production firm about the possibility of working together on a TV series after his appearance went over well. This turning point in Ray's career is thus responsible for the birth of Everybody Loves Raymond. There are fascinating aspects that might not be well known, despite the show's enormous popularity and acclaim. For example, David Letterman produced the show, while Ray Romano came up with the concept after seeing Seinfeld. When Ray's real brother was envious of his Cable Ace Award victory, it gave rise to the term Everybody Loves Raymond. Throughout its 11 seasons on Thursday nights, the show was a huge hit with viewers. The acclaimed comedy series Everybody Loves Raymond won 15 Primetime Emmys, including the highly coveted Outstanding Comedy Series Award in 2003 and 2005. The show was well received by viewers and placed 60th on TV Guide's list of the best television series of all time. Get to know the behind-the-scenes drama, and then we'll take a look at the production work that went into translating your favorite TV show. The production of each episode of the show took place over the course of an average workday. On Monday, the actors read from the script and had dress rehearsals. The writers then spent Tuesday revising the screenplay and doing further rehearsals. On Wednesday, CBS would evaluate the actors' performances, and Thursday would be dedicated to camera setup and blocking in anticipation of Friday's filming. During a normal writing session, the authors would begin by exchanging anecdotes, which would often serve as inspiration for the plots of future episodes. Rosenthal said that in-depth conversations were part of the procedure leading up to the development of a unified storyline. Former Everybody Loves Raymond director Mackenzie said that the writers were able to complete 13 episodes worth of screenplays well in advance of a season's premiere. Although the occasional incorporation of alternative lines did happen, Rosenthal's directorial style heavily emphasized script fidelity and discouraged performers from improvising. When asked about the acting style of Everybody Loves Raymond, Garrett compared it to the improvised style of Seinfeld. The house that Ray and Deborah use for their home tour is 135 Margaret Boulevard in Merrick, New York, and it is worth an estimated $500,000 as of August 2018. Jeremy Stevens created a look for the program that mirrored the on-screen location of Frank and Marie's home at 136 Margaret Boulevard. Stevens explained that the emphasis on plot and the representation of real-life events were what set Everybody Loves Raymond apart from other comedies of the time. According to Julie Porum, CBS's head of comedy development, the show was a traditional sitcom with an elegant twist. Its lack of allusions to modern society and its classic sitcom format, which is evocative of the Honeymooners, established the show's eternal popularity. The show's already refined vibe was taken to the next level with the addition of piano-heavy background music and the New Yorker typeface for the credits. Theme song composers Terry Trotter and Rick Marotta improvised the piece while drawing inspiration from Woody Allen's Manhattan film. The emotionally rich themes contained in episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond set it distinct from standard comedies, despite its modest setting. Storylines centered on adult people rather than youngsters, as part of a trend in 1990s television that aimed to appeal to older audiences, The Sitcom Reader, 2016, from SUNY Press. Ray Romano addressed the difficulties of creating a family-friendly show with mature comedy while filming the second season. His goal in creating the series was to make it interesting without sacrificing realism or relevance. Invoking anecdotes from his own life, he discussed his battles with anxiety attacks and wondered how the audience would react if they saw a parent protagonist go through the same thing. Deliberate efforts were taken to minimize the prominence of young characters in order to focus talks on adult concerns. I do not wish to be overshadowed by toddlers as I already experienced this dynamic at home. The content from Romano's stand-up routines that forms the basis of the show highlights his viewpoint as a father who deeply loves his family but also desires personal independence. Everybody Loves Raymond explores complex family dynamics, including interactions between marriages, siblings, and individual family members, according to television critic Joanna Ostro. The show also explores the difficulties of becoming an adult for middle-aged males of the baby boomer generation, especially those who are athletically inclined. Variety states that on December 20, 1998, Tribune Broadcasting's WPX New York and KTLA Los Angeles, which are both owned by Emaar Entertainment, purchased the syndication rights to Everybody Loves Raymond. In exchange for 1.5 minutes of barter advertising and weekly licensing costs between $90,000 and $100,000, Emaar secured the agreement. To avoid scheduling problems with other sitcoms going into syndication, Emaar moved the airing of repeats from the autumn of 2000 to the fall of 2001 on both networks. The two networks were able to air the show in the fall of 2004 because to an agreement that was made in 2000 and lasted for 4.5 years. Beginning on January 26, 1999, and continuing until 2016, cable network TBS obtained the syndication rights of the show from Emaar Entertainment. The show aired on local stations in the majority of television markets when it was in syndication. The show has moved from TBS to TV Land after airing there from 2004 until 2021. The show is shown on Deja Vu and CMT in Canada. Regular airings of the show are still going strong in the UK. Worldwide distribution was handled by Warner Bros. International Television, while off-network syndication was handled by King World from 2000 to 2007. In 2007, King World's distribution was taken up by CBS Television Distribution. While Warner Bros. And HBO control the rights outside of the United States, CBS only has the rights to syndicate within the country. Included in Channel 4's breakfast programming, the two-part series aired in the UK every morning from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Even in 2024, It will still air first thing in the morning on weekdays. Additionally, TVHTS, formerly known as TV1, the pay TV network of Fox TBS, carries Everybody Loves Raymond. It has a history of airing on Fox Classics, Comedy Central in the UK, 10 Peach, a Network 10 subsidiary, in Australia, and Ramdi Now, local channel, in India. Regions 1, 2, and 4 received the complete Everybody Loves Raymond DVD set from HBO. August 13, 2008 was the release date of the Region 4 full box set. Reissued in 2006 in Australia, the first 5 seasons came in smaller packaging than the original broad spine boxes. An additional component of certain editions was a cardboard slipcover. Netflix stopped using standard-sized DVD packaging on September 1, 2016, after having used it from 2009 to 2012 for North American distribution. The site allowed users to watch every episode of the show online. On September 14, 2004, the first season was also released on VHS in its entirety. The 6-season DVD package, which was published over 5 years after the conclusion of the season, includes the episode Marie Sculpture, which had never shown in the UK before. Everybody Loves Raymond has been lauded by critics as the archetypal truthful comedy because to its perfectly balanced comedic moments that highlight real family difficulties. The program features some of television's most vividly portrayed people, and it depicts families as imperfect but connected together. Deborah stands out from other comedy moms thanks to her no-nonsense approach to Raymond's actions. Similarly to Livia from The Sopranos, Doris Roberts' Marie has a shadowy side. Raymond gets a lot of credit for handling the tricky 4-camera live audience arrangement that most classic comedies use. In 1997, critic Bruce Fretz said that perhaps Raymond is the greatest sitcom on television right now. The outstanding cast and storylines that tackle common anxieties like aging and beauty were praised by Betsy Wallace. Incorporating new individuals into the familial dynamic, Raymond's narrative remains sharp, as highlighted in Plugged In's review. With 7 years under his belt and a slew of Emmys to his name, Garrett's role in the program is legendary for all the laughs and memorable moments. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and watch the next video I've uploaded if you liked it.